Hello, judges. Thank you for taking your time to consider WECT for Outstanding News Operation.
Once again, it's been a very busy and productive year in southeastern North Carolina, from a major hurricane to a man-made crisis involving our drinking water. WECT has been front and center, bringing this information to our viewers on all platforms.
We expanded our reach this year, and we're happy to share some of those highlights with you now.
Boy, Jesus, look at it. Oh my God. What we gonna do? Jesus, what we gonna do now? We ain't got nowhere to go. We ain't got nowhere to go.
In October last year, Hurricane Matthew swept through our region, bringing powerful winds and buckets of rain.
WECT was the only station in the region to be live from sunup to sundown as the storm pounded the area. But the devastation didn't end that weekend. Flooding wiped out neighborhoods and even a town in the area. The recovery continues tonight.
Now, our Molly Oak has been traveling all morning long. She set out for Whiteville, did that before 5 o'clock this morning, ran into water before she was even able to get there, but somehow she has not made it to Fair Bluff. So we're going to take Molly live there in Fair Bluff this afternoon. Molly, it's taken you a while to get there. Describe the scene and what you were seeing play out in front of you.
Exactly, Bob. Roadblock after roadblock because of all that flooding we saw from Hurricane Matthew. And now you can see behind me, Fair Bluff is completely underwater. The road's looking a lot more like rivers here in downtown. This is Main Street, where the water, they're estimating about 5 to 6 feet, but in some places up to 8 feet. Now, they are evacuating people. About half the town has been evacuated right now, but they're saying that they have never seen anything like this. Fire department calling this historical. They have no way of telling how many people this has affected, and they don't know when it's going to stop. Now, this is all from the Lumber River overflowing, just coming throughout the town. But for those who I've been able to speak to, everyone has kind of had the same sentiments of never seeing something like this before. And as you take it in, just look around. I want you to look. There's a truck all the way down there, the water all the way up to the windows. Now, people were saying that they were following this truck when it was driving, and it just completely floated off down there. So again, reminding people to turn around, don't drown. I know we've been saying this over and over, but some of the standing water can be extremely dangerous. And with depths like this, people really should not even be trying to drive, because you never know about that road washout, Bob.
Yeah, Molly, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this, I believe, is the first ever live report from a boat going down the central line of downtown Fair Bluff. The pictures here are just incredible to see the amount of water that's in that area. I know you've got someone obviously on the boat steering you with this. Has that person said anything to you about what they have ever seen? I've got to think this doesn't even go on record with anybody living there.
Yeah, the man who is taking us around the boat, he's actually the owner of the drugstore down here. He said never seen anything like that. And that's just continually the people who I've been able to talk to, whether it's fire department, other officials who have come into town helping out, a pastor of one of the churches that's right on the corner who didn't get as much water damage. Everyone's saying that they have never seen something like this. And honestly, Bob, we've talked about both being from Florida, both going through multiple hurricanes. I've never seen flooding like this before either, and I hope to never see something like this again.
And Molly, where you're at, obviously the water's so deep going through downtown that there's nobody there, thankfully, right now. Where are all the residents right now? Where are people trying to find safe havens at this hour?
Right now, I'm told the highest point is the railroad tracks, which is just about a block over, and we've seen a few people with backpacks or even trash bags walking, trying to get out of the area. Really, it's to the point where they can, whatever they can carry in a bag and get out, that's what they're at. But again, just look at this pickup truck. I mean, up to the windows right now, the bed completely full of water, just kind of abandoned here. Seems that those people who did evacuate had to just grab whatever they could carry and get out immediately, because again, they don't know if it's still rising, if it can keep rising anymore, or if it's done. Really at a point where they're just hoping that it's finished and will start decreasing now. But again, just look at this. I mean, it's a scene that I've never seen before, and something that, again, I hope to never see again.
WECT was on top of breaking news after the kidnapping of a small child out of a neighborhood. She was found a day later tied to a tree, and we were live as officers brought the girl to safety.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Bill Murray here in the WECT studios. We've got new information just in on the search for that missing girl. An Amber Alert issued for Stephanie Lopez Castro, abducted from her home last night. This is video being sent to us back from WECT's Molly Oak, who is live there on River Road in Wilmington. Again, we see the rescue crews there bringing in a bag into the back of an ambulance. What's in that? We don't really know what that is at this point. Lots of canine units there as well. There is police activity all along River Road right there. Again, the call went out to be able to find this little girl. About 5 o'clock, she was reported missing from her Palm Oaks subdivision right there in Monkey Junction. About 5 o'clock last night. This has been an ongoing search. There were calls about an hour ago that there was some sort of activity along River Road.
Really, the entire neighborhood knew this girl is what it seemed from this morning, and now hoping to provide some closure to this case. You know, you do see that in New Hanover County EMS as well, and we're really just hoping to find this little girl, again, 6 years old. We have just been confirmed that Stephanie is alive and she'll be headed to the hospital. I know that was when we had heard them shouting. We found her earlier. They were asking for water, and I told you we thought we saw someone being carried into EMS. We have been told now and can confirm that Stephanie Lopez Castro is alive, Bill.
How terrific is that? You know, 17 hours after all of this happened, to hear that Stephanie Castro is alive, that the family has been notified. We've learned this through a family friend, and they were told they were on their way to New Hanover Regional Medical Center. That's got to be very positive, considering the images that we just saw on this newscast about 5 minutes ago as they were carrying a bag into the back of the EMS station. Again, we don't ever like to speculate to be able to see what's happening, but we knew that they were looking for somebody in the woods, and that search had been there for about an hour, and they brought that out, unfortunately, as we were just setting up our cameras there to be able to see what kind of activity may be coming there.
And as we closed out the year, WECT has stayed on top of a pollution in our local drinking water at the hands of a chemical company upstream in the Cape Fear River. We pushed for answers from the company and kept viewers informed with the latest information, as well as what we uncovered in our efforts to hold the leaders accountable.
We're with WECT.
Hey, I'm Gary Fambry with Camores, and I'm just going to give you this information. If you could please get in touch with me.
We're just
we will
wondering why you
respond to
guys
any
are
written
refusing
statements.
to talk to the public.
We're not refusing to talk to the public.
You hid in that
we'll
meeting
be
room
talking.
while everybody was outside. What do you say to all the people out here that are afraid to drink their water?
I would say please send me all of your questions, and we will answer them
This is your chance
as
to
soon
talk
as we
to
can.
people who are now drinking bottled water because they're too afraid to drink our tap water. Can you say something to that? This is your chance.
Again, please contact me. I'll give you my contact information.
Of course, the presidential election dominated many of our headlines in the last year, and we pressed those who wanted to lead our country for answers to questions relevant to our community.
A lot of people around here are concerned about offshore drilling. Where do you stand? Is it part of your energy program?
Well, I'll tell you what, we want to make sure the people around here, because those are the ones that have to really put up with it, we want to make sure that they're okay with it. And I know there is a lot of anxiety from the people in the surrounding area, and I would want to make sure that they're okay with it. That would be very important to me.
Beach renourishment, federal funding has been dropped in recent years, and a lot of people say more is going to be cut. Do you think the federal government should play a major role in beach renourishment?
I do, and you need it very badly here because it's such a tourist area. You need it very, very badly, and I do, and it will happen if I become president. Believe me, I know they basically approved it here, and you never got the money, and you're suffering because of it. We will make sure that that happens.
You know about bringing people into locations, so you're a guy that needs to bring visitors, and you know how important it is.
Sure, it's very important, and that's a very important thing. And it's also jobs, in all fairness. It's jobs, not only the people that do it, but the people that come because of it. So, no, I'm a big fan.
What about voter ID? Do you think voters should have to show a valid ID before they cast a ballot?
Yeah, I was very upset when I heard about that ruling. I think that ruling is just an incorrect ruling. I think voter ID is a good thing, not a bad thing. And I was surprised that in North Carolina that happened. Many states are going the other way. They want strong voter ID. And in North Carolina, where we're doing very well, you see the crowds are so incredible. I mean, I'm going out right now after I finish with you into a room with thousands and thousands of people, and thousands of people outside. They can't get in. I think that most of those people would agree that voter ID is very important.
The Wilmington area hosted its first PGA tournament in more than 4 decades this year, the Wells Fargo Championships in May. And it was much more than a sporting event. It brought a projected economic impact of $30 million.
WECT made a commitment early to cover this event from a community impact point of view. We were live everywhere on the course and in all-day parts with extended coverage throughout the week-long event. As
The
a
one
tornado
there
warning
along
was
the
called
lowest
during
portion
the
of the
tournament,
Cape Fear
our
River
team
between some
twisted
rotation
itself
in
into
the atmosphere
severe
and tighten
weather
up.
coverage.
Tell us what's going on the ground, my friend.
Well, you know, rain and lots of it. Actually, I can't figure out why they'd even want to have a delay on a morning like this. Just beautiful conditions out here at Eagle Point Golf Club. You know, the rain rates here over the course of the last 15 minutes or so have accelerated to, I mean, basically you'd have to swim to get to your car. You can take a look behind me now. This is looking back off toward the practice facility. You can see clearly some ponding starting here across much of the parking lots. And from the looks of the radar that you just showed, Gannon, this is going to be something that's just going to continue on over the course of somewhere in the neighborhood of the next 40, maybe even 50 minutes with showers. Heavy at times, just like this. We've seen some strong straight line winds. And in addition to that, we've seen that cloud to ground lightning. That's one of the big concerns. But of course, the biggest concern is this is a good thing, as mentioned earlier by the PGA executive director of this tournament. We don't have people here yet. Can you imagine if you had 25,000 people here in a situation like this? So if you don't have to be out here yet, it's a great idea just to wait. We're on delay. Take it easy. Read the paper. If you were planning to come out for your Friday tickets, there will be plenty of time to do so. It is a wet and uncomfortable morning, to say the least, with not a lot of shelter.
Our investigative team became the first media outlet in eastern North Carolina to successfully argue before a judge that body cam footage of an officer-involved shooting should become public record. District Attorney John David told the judge, "It is not my practice to release these videos," but he had no problem with the town or the chief releasing it. David also asked Judge Bell to watch the video, and if he found a compelling public interest is served, David would not object to its release. Judge Bell did watch the video, and minutes later, he ruled it could be released to WECT.
I think the one thing this showed, though, is that how new this law is.
Yes.
That everybody in there was saying this is one of the first times we've tried this.
Right.
So what we've done here is really provide a roadmap of how this might go moving forward, at least in Brunswick County is concerned.
We also serve our community by educating them about the latest cancer treatments and initiatives underway. Each month, we have several stories under our franchise called Plaid Pack. We inform viewers about warning signs, and we share uplifting stories of survival from some of the deadliest forms of cancer.
It's a diagnosis. It's not death.
She didn't have that calm attitude early on.
The key to my success would be the warrior, the fight in me.
She says it was her husband who got her on the road to survival.
Jim came into the bedroom one day, and which was on many occasions he would ask what was wrong because I was crying, and I would say, I just don't want to die. I just don't want to die. And his simple word, his response was, then don't.
She didn't. Beth started an organization called She Rocks to help the next woman who gets the diagnosis. While her treatments have been hard at times, she's convinced attitude and a will to live can change your outcome.
And so instead of thinking, woe is me, I think, yay. Today I get to live. I get to see the sunrise and the sunset.
Now, all of these components have multiple elements online, but this year we're branching out even more. In the past several months, we launched our own podcast series, sharing long-form interviews you won't see during the newscast with local leaders.
And several times a week, we have digital exclusive stories as we hire our first digital-only reporter. Those stories extend our reach through social media as well. We're also now live on Roku and Alexa with unique content.
Our commitment to this region extends beyond the daily newscast or the rundown of stories in the news section of our app and website. We push our team in this market to do long-form storytelling, to shed more light on issues that deserve more than a minute and a half of attention.
Animals are so disposable. Like, it bothers me that people are so quick to get rid of their animals, and you have the type that come in and they turn in and they're honest with you, I can't afford it. Then you have the other people that you know it's their animal and they won't fess up to it. But you know, because that animal has a deep attachment to that person, like literally it's all you can do to separate the dog from them. Like, and the dog keeps looking back like, no, don't leave me. Those are the things that bother me.
This past year, we followed animal control officers behind the scenes of some heartbreaking cases in our documentary, Voiceless Victims. That commitment continued with our annual efforts to clear the shelters with an all-day adoption drive at local locations.
Every day, more cats and dogs wind up in a shelter looking for someone to take them home and care for them.
And what better way to inspire you to do that than to take a look at some animals ready for adoption right now. WECT's Lauren Rautenkrantz live at the New Hanover County Animal Shelter. Hey Lauren, who have you got there? You've got several dogs out there.
Oh yeah, guys. Hi Kim and Ashley. It is so much fun here. We're at the New Hanover County Animal Services Unit, and behind me I have several folks that work here with all of the animals, and we're going to show a couple of them off. This right here is 7-year-old Maverick, and he is so, I mean, I just can't. Like, he's so poised, and look at him. Like, well, how would you describe this guy?
Docile.
And he's 7 years old, so he really needs a home, and he is just as loving as ever. And you said he's a leaner.
Yes, he is. He likes to lean.
And he's 125 pounds, so he's a big boy. All right, now over here, we can't ignore these little ones. Who have we got here? Actually, they do not have names, these two, right?
Yeah, these little kids don't have names. They came in as strays. But they're Basset Hound mixes. They're about a year old. Very active, very playful. Of course, they were just neutered, spayed and neutered, so they're pretty jacked up today. They're wanting to get out and play.
That's right, and so like you mentioned, they have been spayed and neutered, so they are so ready for a home. Look at them, they're cracking me up. Okay, we do have our lovely intern Kaylee here, and then also we have another little guy here as well. So you think these guys are just about a year old, Bear, and then also no name. You said he was just a little stray running the street.
That's correct, yeah, we found him running loose on 12th Street. He's about a 1.5 years old. He's a male neutered. We got him listed as a Boykin Spaniel mix.
Okay. All right. Well, they are all, as you can tell, energetic. Little Bear right here. Oh, he needs a good home, okay? So come on over to the New Hanover County Animal Services. You have to say, thank you, Bear, adopt me. All right, guys, reporting live in Wilmington. Back over to you.
I want puppy kisses.
I know, Lauren's getting all the love out there.
And we gave new perspective to wrongdoing taking place in our region. Our documentary on the wrongful incarceration of Joseph Sledge, who served decades for a murder he did not commit, exposed injustice in our criminal justice system.
The last time Joseph Sledge was here was 1976, when detectives brought him here.
He said, you want to get out? I said, no, sir, I ain't never been in the people's house and I ain't going in there. That's what I told him. I knew that they were doing something, making moves on me.
Sledge said he wouldn't get out of the car because he didn't want his footprints at a crime scene. To this day, he swears he had nothing to do with.
I know that they knew that I had nothing to do with this.
This house and that crime put Sledge in prison for almost 40 years. But to understand how we got here, we have to rewind to 1976.
With more than 6 decades of service in southeastern North Carolina, our viewers and readers know they can trust us to be there for them. And while some of the news we have to share is not positive,
Army here.
we
Things have been
also
doing
work to help
pretty well.
make
A lot of people
difference
coming up and saying hi to us.
We at Knox Pediatrics would like to present you with this check to help buy all these bikes and my personal favorite, the BMW i8.
We have annual initiatives to collect toys and bikes during the holidays. We gather fans to share with the elderly during the brutal summer months in the Cape Fear.
I am lost because we have
even
so
see you.
many fans that we've
there you
collected
are.
already. Seriously, I mean, at this point we have about 215 fans already sold. I'm not even kidding.
And we also collect coats each year to keep the vulnerable members of our population warm during the winter.
After Hurricane Matthew, we did a fundraising drive for the United Way with all of the proceeds staying right here to benefit the victims.
Like many stations, we're looking for ways to serve the greater good. We hope you get a sense of that from this presentation today.
Thank you for your consideration.